gentleman from Washington is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I do, in fact, rise in support of H.R. 4351, the Yes in My Backyard, or YIMBY Act, and I thank the gentleman from Guam, as well as the gentleman from Arkansas. Our nation is, in fact, suffering from a severe national housing crisis, a word that's overused too much, but in fact applies to the situation. We are indeed missing millions of homes to meet qualified and eligible demand in this country. The reference earlier was to 7.3. Estimates range from 7 to 10 million homes. In my home state alone, to put that in perspective, Washington State, we are underproduced by 200,000 homes. The implication of not having enough homes, of a supply problem, are grave, because housing, turns out, is an ecosystem. What we see now is this entire ecosystem is under stress, and as a consequence, the cost of shelter is going up for everyone. From homeowners to renters, market rate to affordable homes in urban and suburban and rural, this housing crisis has hit everyone. One place where it's particularly acute is the production of starter homes. And stop and think about what that does to the ecosystem. If we're not building starter homes because some of the fees, as an example, or regulations that my friend from Arkansas alluded to, that means that people who are renting can't quite get that first rung on the ladder of home ownership. But it also means that the boomers who are seeking to downsize can't find homes that they can purchase. So what's the implication of that? If there are no starter homes, more people stay renting. If more people stay renting, occupancies go up. If occupancies go up, rents go up. It's pure supply and demand. More people become rent burden. And yes, in fact, this is a contributory cause of increased homelessness, even in America. How severe is this? Little known fact, but a fact nonetheless. In the last 15 years, the single largest increase in household budgets isn't, counterintuitively, it is not health care, it is not post-secondary education, it is housing. I've been saying for years that we need to encourage the construction of more homes that Americans can afford. We need to build more homes of all types and sizes for all our neighbors. Now, affordable housing advocates and economists and builders and lenders and countless others have come together to try to begin to solve this problem, now a crisis. And there are a few common themes beginning to emerge from their research. One of these common themes is that certain zoning and land use policies are negatively impacting construction and affordable housing supply. Local governments regulate zoning and land use policy, and we shouldn't be doing that here. That's not what this bill is about. The fact of the matter is, communities experience different barriers to housing. One size doesn't fit all, so we shouldn't be getting in that business. But the impact of zoning and land use policies on housing are significant. As certain regulations have increased, they have resulted in fewer homes and unaffordable housing cost increases for everyone, the hardest hit being low-income people. Here's another fact. There is not a single county in the United States of America where somebody working full-time at a minimum wage job can afford, according to federal standards, a two-bedroom unit. Not a single county in all of America. That's why I argue that we must have a better understanding of the impacts of these policies. Sunlight is, after all, the best disinfectant. Under the YIMBY Act, local governments receiving federal housing funds through the Community Development Block Grant Program, or CDBG, would report whether they have enacted policies to reduce regulations that affect affordable housing supply. Let's be clear, there's nothing in this bill, nothing, that will deny municipalities CDBG, nothing. Rather, the bill seeks simple transparency for these decisions and encourages localities to eliminate housing barriers. I introduced the YIMBY Act with my friend Congressman Hollingsworth from Indiana, and it did in fact pass out of the committee unopposed. But it's not only bipartisan, it enjoys an incredible spectrum of support among external stakeholders. Everybody, I'm not going to bore you with all 18 organizations, but everybody from the American Planning Association to Habitat for Humanity to the Mortgage Bankers Association. They all backed this bill because it is time to take this step. You know, solving the housing crisis is going to require the work and collaboration of all levels of government. Everybody's got a hand on the oar here, local, state, and federal government. This is no longer something that elected officials at any level can ignore, and that includes us. We have a national housing crisis, one that is brought on in part by zoning and land use policies. This YIMBY Act is a crucial first step to addressing these policies in order to bring down housing costs. With that, I submit it to the body for its favorable consideration, and thank the gentleman from Arkansas, the gentleman from Guam, and the chair of the committee as well. I yield back, Mr. Speaker.
The gentleman from Washington,